This is my video of the Aria STB series bass. Now, these basses are still being made. This is a 10-year-old version, so the newer basses are a little bit nicer finished. Some have got active electronics. This model, being 10 years old, is a bit bashed about, maple neck with the rosewood board. I use this extensively for gigging, so considering it's a starter level guitar, it's certainly been good value for money. As I say, they're still making these. They range between 150 and 180 pounds new. You can pick them up less than £100 second hand. They made quite a lot of them, so they're easy to find. In the time I've had it, I've just replaced a couple of the tuning knobs. So yeah, it's been extensively gigged, never let me down. And good sounding pickups. Just a good cheap bass. So yeah, would definitely advise getting one if you're on a budget. Quite nice finish there. Just talking generally about the rest of my collection and what the golden rules when collecting guitars on a budget. We've got 6 classic vibe Strats, mixture of Strats and Telecasters. In my earlier video I've said, you know, the giveaway for classic vibe is gloss neck and the gold lettering, square lettering. That's what you should be looking out for. Yeah, back to what I was saying about guitar collection on a budget. There are some golden rules, and probably the rule that is the most important out of all of the things that I've learnt is never buy American guitars. You're paying for the history, the fact that they came up with the original designs, so they've got the branding, and also US labour costs are so high compared to competition. When you add those all together, the history, the branding and the labour costs, you get a product that's up to 10 times more expensive and not really anywhere near 10 times better. It's the rule of diminishing returns. A lot of the Fenders Squire range, they're all made in Southeast Asia, where labour rates are much lower, not by Fender employees, the work's jobbed out. So even though these people have got the same skills and the same machines nowadays, their products are a lot cheaper. So that's what I've aimed for. I started off by buying not the top range of the Squires, because there's 6 or 7 Squire ranges, and I thought I'll go for just below the top, so I went for vintage modified instead of classic vibe, because they're a third cheaper new. So give you an example of a vintage modified guitar. This guitar here, which cost me £220 new, and now retailing for about 300. So in the space of 3.5 years, this guitar has gone up 30%. A gloss neck, large headstock U-10 on these models. But yeah, Indonesian made, extremely good guitar, excellent fit and finish. Maybe not quite as good as the top range, but there's not a lot in it, and they are about running at the moment new about 25% cheaper. So certainly if you're on a real tight budget, I'd go for these instead of the classic vibe models. If you're buying new, if you're buying second hand, then I'd stick with the classic vibe, because these second hand go for about 200, whereas classic vibe is maybe 250. So classic vibe seems to lose more of its value second hand than these do. So yeah, my second golden rule is don't actually buy guitar new. I've never bought a guitar second hand or new that I've had problems with the pickups of the electronics. The electronics in guitars are basic and simple, and it's very rare for you to have problems with electronics. I've never had any problems, so I wouldn't worry about buying second hand. You might get a few chips, but that's not going to affect the sound. You can pick up second hand guitars between 1/3 and 50% cheaper. Guitars lose a lot of value as soon as they leave the showroom, maybe 30%. It's a lot of depreciation, so yeah, the deals are there second hand. If you want a new guitar that's only just been released, then you have to pay top whack, but even then you can, using the example of this Sigma guitar, this only came out this year, this guitar, and so I really liked it. I had to buy it new, but I still made sure that I looked around and got the best price. When I went to the dealer who I bought it off, I made sure that they matched the best price I could find, which was 400, selling for 425. I had some credit with that dealer anyway, so I paid 385, and this 3 months later, this guitar is now 475 by the same dealer. So it's always worth looking for the best deal and then going to the dealer you want to buy it off and getting them to match it. So yeah, I paid 385, which is just a little bit above my maximum, which is normally £350. So I mean, there are some guitars where the company doesn't actually do cheaper versions. Fender obviously with Squier, and Gibson with Epiphone obviously do, but Rickenbacker don't. So this is the only Chinese Chickenbacker that I've bought, because Rickenbacker don't do a cheap version, so I had to go via AliExpress to get this guitar. And as I've said in my previous videos, it's not an exact copy of a solid body 12 string Rickenbacker. It's much too big, the body, and it's not glossed, the fretboard, etc. But the neck's quite accurate. The configuration of the 12 strings, that is pretty accurate. So this cost me $250. As I say, I had to go via AliExpress and get a Chinese version done, because Rickenbacker don't do a cheaper version, and they're very difficult to get hold of copies of working back a 12 string, so I had no choice. But it still was relatively inexpensive, quite well made. Yeah, so recapping, best not to buy new, best not to buy American made guitars. As you can see from my collection, it's cost me about 5,000 to replace. Probably would be about 7, but I'd probably get 3 or 4 American made guitars for that sort of money. I've got 19 guitars here, you know, all extremely well made, excellent fit and finish. Quite a few of them were bought second hand from Gumtree or from pawnbrokers. In the UK, cash generators are better than cash converters. This guitar, which has been discontinued, £200 I paid second hand from cash generators. It's a Sigma model. When they were being sold, they were $350 new, so that was a nice deal. Sigma, excellent value anyway. Got Yamaha there, the L6. This was bought new for $350 and now over 500. It was only earlier this year as well. So again, it's been sold for 400 and I got it down 50 quid. 12 string there, Sigma guitar that I picked up for $285. They're now over 400. Again, bit of a trade in on this one, and just got the dealer to match the best price I could find. It's always worth doing a bit of research beforehand and finding the best price and getting the dealer you want to buy it from to match it. Most of them will. The Les Paul copies by Vintage, I did pay for them new, but they were all under £300, so quite a bit less than the recommended retail price. So the dealer I found who sold those did them for a particularly good price, and they're a fraction of the cost of Gibson Les Pauls, and there's not a lot in it in terms of quality. These are excellently finished, made in China. I've got veneer instead of maple cap, but they're still arch tops. Yeah, so you know, as I say, the golden rules are: don't buy American. If you're on a budget, or Mexican, you know, Chinese or Indonesian, Korean are the way to go. They're cheaper, a lot cheaper. Don't buy you know, don't buy an Epiphone when you can buy a Vintage, because you'll pay just for the Epiphone name. And Vintage, the good thing about Vintage guitars is the Les Paul copies, they've got a lot better headstock, a lot nearer the open book Gibson style than the Epiphone headstock, which I don't like, and they're cheaper, a lot cheaper, and they're just as good. Sigma instead of Martin. Sigma based on Martin designs, and Martin sold the brand name to AMI in 2007. AMI, a German company. So if you're after a Martin copy, Sigma do make some solid body versions, so most of them are laminated back and sides, but they're still really good guitars for a fraction of the price of Martin. So I'd advise going for those if you're on a budget. Yeah, so my collection is 19 guitars. For a number of these were bought as presents, but to replace them would be about 7,000. But I think I paid all in about 5. So excellent. I'd much rather have a lot of guitars than 2 or 3 American made guitars. You know, this is a much better way of doing it, and in terms of the low end American guitars that are not custom shop, you know, not expensive woods, these are easily as good. You know, if you're not a fantastic guitarist, you're not going to suddenly sound fantastic just because you've bought an American guitar. So yeah, that's my golden rules. Don't buy American, don't buy a famous name, and try and buy second-hand guitars because they're a lot better value. So yeah, hope you found that useful.